Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bookmarked Chapter 33. Today, we are talking about our mid-year reading update. Essentially, if you've watched like the mid-year book freakout tag, that's the name of the tag, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you watch that tag, it's kind of like a bunch of questions about how your reading has been going up to this like point in the year, the halfway point of the year, which is in June. We're in July now, so we're a little bit past that point, but still pretty relevant. So we're just going to be talking about like some of our favorite books we read so far this year, some of our least favorite or most disappointing books. I'm just talking about our reading year thus far. So let's go and introduce ourselves. Obviously, we're on my channel. I'm Hannah.
I am Zoe from ReadbyZoe. Also, we're now midway through the year because 6 months have passed, so it's super relevant. Hey, yeah, hi, Zoe.
Amazing. I always forget the order. I literally panic every time. I'm Hailey from the channel Hailey in Bookland.
And what are we all currently reading? What are you reading, Zoe?
I am reading 2 books, actually. The first one is actually 3 books. The first one is Hailey's book. Hey, it's terrible
about that.
so far. It's so bad. No, just kidding. It's actually really good, which shouldn't be a surprise.
Thank you.
You're a great writer. But I'm also reading The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I'm only like 100 pages in. Never mind. And guess what? Finally reading Six of Crows.
Only took her 1,000 years
after everybody else.
Amazing. I am currently reading Roomies by Christina Lauren, and I'm also kind of currently reading my own book just because I'm trying to like get back into the swing of it because I haven't read it in a really long time while I was waiting to hear back from the agent. So
I am currently listening to Vengeful on audiobook. And I'm trying to read Ninth House, and it's not Ninth House's fault. I just literally have not felt like reading it. So I'm mostly just listening to Vengeful on audiobook, and I'm going to be starting Hailey's book soon too, because we said we would buddy read it. So
yes,
yeah.
Terrible things.
I've read the first 10 pages of your book like 100 times, and I've just never read that.
Same. I could literally recite the first page.
I think I can recite it too.
Yeah. Beautiful. That's all that matters.
2 good friends. Wow.
It's whatever.
But yeah, so like I said, we are going to be talking about kind of our reading progress through the year so far. So starting off, what have been some of the best books you guys have read so far this year?
Well, first, let's talk about like how many books we've read so far.
Oh, true. Yeah, good point.
I've read 44, I believe, but like a lot of them were children's books and graphic novels. But Goodreads still counts it, so I do too. One of them is Fox and Socks.
Oh my god! Wow. I was gonna say you've read more than me.
How many pages, though? I think you're the winner.
I've read 41 books this year.
Nice.
I don't know how many pages. It should show you somewhere though. But
it only shows you at the end of the year.
Like, I thought I found it somewhere though.
Really?
Yeah, there's a thing where you can click on it on the web version, not the app. If you're on the app, it doesn't let you. I think there's somewhere where you can click on it and it shows you like, the shortest book, longest book, and pages. Even
it definitely does because I remember looking at that earlier. But
changing.
I don't know.
So how many books have you read?
I have read 33 books so far this year.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I thought I was like, super behind. What?
We're all doing pretty well.
Yeah. What was your reading challenge? Because mine was 52 books, and I thought I was super behind, but I'm like 7 or 8 books ahead of schedule, so we're good.
Mine was 100, so I'm 6 books behind, and that includes Fox and Socks.
Oh my god!
You just need to read all of Dr. Seuss, and then I'll get back on track. There we go.
Amazing. I've read 14,959 pages.
Where did you see that?
So if you go to your profile and where it says My Year in Books 2018, you click on that and then you click on see the next year and it will give you those stats. So the shortest book that I've read is Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire, and that was 170 pages. And the longest book that I've read is Renegades by Marissa Meyer, which was 556 pages.
Oh, okay. Oh, I found it. Shortest books? Can we guess?
Wait, where did
Boxing
pages?
Sucks. 24 pages. It actually took me like 30 seconds to read. And longest book was The Night Circus, which was 512.
Nice.
I'm
I
getting
have
to mine. Oh, okay. I've read 12,524 pages.
nice. My
I've
goal
read
for this
300 more
year-
pages than you. And it's like 10 more books.
Oh my god. My goal for this year was 52 books as well.
Okay.
And
So you're almost done. You'll finish like this month or next month.
I don't
Are you
know
gonna bump it
about
up
that.
after you complete it? Or
I
do
don't
you
think
just
I'm
like
gonna
try to
complete
get
it.
over it? What?
Well, I'm going into edits.
I think
So
you'll
I don't
read
know.
like 10 books, less than 10 books in 6 months.
I feel like what happened last year is what's gonna happen. I'm just gonna because I'm writing and stuff, I'm not gonna be able to read anything.
Well, we have our book of the month, so you're still probably, if you just read the book of the month, I think you
That's
might
true.
end
Yeah.
up reading.
Even
that's
with
true.
just those books, you'll be fine, and you're gonna read more than
Beautiful.
that. So
Don't give up.
Beautiful.
yeah, my shortest book is 32 pages, which is The Ones Who Walk Away from Omalas, which is just like a short story. So, and then my longest was 704, which was The Devil's Thief.
Why did you read that short book, Hannah?
Because of BTS. Everyone is going to ask me this as if I'm going to deny it or something. I'm not denying it.
I know. What was the least popular book you've read so far? Mine was A Treasury of Flower Fairies, it's right there. Yes, it's right there. And it's a collection of poems about flowers and fairies.
Oh, interesting.
Has really
My
good
least
illustrations.
popular is Stargazing by Jen Wang, which is the arc that I recently
it's not
read.
out yet.
It's not out yet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mine was
about you?
Tilly and the Book Wanderers by Anna James.
I haven't even heard of that one.
It's a middle grade book.
Ah. Okay.
What's your most popular? I just want to go through these stats now.
Oh, Harry
Clockwork
Potter.
Angel.
Yeah.
Clockwork Angel's mine too.
Yeah.
Harry Potter, the first one. I listened to the audiobook.
I've never heard of that book before. Is it popular?
You know, it's actually terrible. I don't think you should waste your time. It's not as bad as yours, but it's yeah.
What's your average rating for the year so far?
3.8.
What's yours?
Haley?
Mine's 3.6.
Mine is also 3.8.
Dang. Haley hates
Critic.
everything.
Critic.
I think mine would have been a lot lower had I not reread like a bunch of my favorite books this year.
Same here.
Yeah.
So you asked before what was our favorite book of the year? My favorite book of the year, I think, would have to be Daisy Jones and the Six, the library book, or Howl's Moving Castle.
Mine's Daisy Jones.
Mine is also absolutely.
Yeah.
Read it like 4 times.
We're so original.
But I'm really surprised that a nonfiction book is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
You really like the library book. You recommended
it. Was,
It's true.
my dudes.
What's
you
the
should read it.
What's the worst book that you've read so far this year?
Ooh, I think that would have to be I Was Born for This by Alice.
What just happened to you?
Wow. Oh my god.
I mean, that was pretty bad. I'm trying to think. I also didn't like Geekerella,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't like Siege and Storm. I gave all of those 2 stars.
I almost accidentally just unsubscribed from your channel.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. I think that my least favorite book would have to be A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Commermer. I just didn't like it at all. I don't know. I don't know.
What'd you rate it? 2 stars?
I think I gave it a 2.
Would
Yeah,
you
I
have
gave
given
it a
it
2.
less than a 2? Do you give 1-star reviews?
I do, yeah. But now I don't really anymore because if it's 1 star, I'll just DNF.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, I don't think I would give it a 1 star. Like, it wasn't that bad. It just like wasn't, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it, which is a really like unpopular opinion.
My worst book, I think, is it's the first book I read this year, which is tragic. That's And I Darken by Kirsten White. I'm like going through this and I realized I've given like a lot of books 2 stars this year. But I haven't given anything 1 star. So there was nothing that I was like, wow, I hate this.
I haven't
But
either.
yeah. And then what about most disappointing, which could be the same, but also different.
I think it would, I don't know. I think part of it would have to be all of the Wayward Children books, because I love the idea of them and I kept expecting them to get better, but they never did. So I was kind of the fool in this situation.
I think that mine would probably be The Gilded Wolves by Roshni Chokshi.
Mine too.
It was so confusing, but like it looked so pretty and the concept sounded really cool, but like I couldn't even get past page 30. So like, oops.
Do you think it would have been better with a better audiobook narrator?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Have you gotten further into it though?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because I tried the audiobook and I tried the physical book.
Oh.
I also tried both.
So
yeah,
it's not the format.
Any surprising books?
The Library Book by Susan Orlean. Oh, it'll change your lives. Actually, don't think that, please, because then you'll be mad at me.
I forget what I answered for this for my mid-year book freakout tag. But I feel like surprises would be all the romance books that I've read that I've enjoyed, because that's not really my genre, but
now it is.
Now I quite enjoy it.
Mine was The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell, because like read that book, expected absolutely nothing, and now it's literally one of my favorite series ever. So super surprising, absolutely loved it.
I also really enjoyed Howl's Moving Castle because it's so different from the movie. And I was expecting it to be just like a play-by-play, but it was like, it was a great book and the movie is a great movie. Then both of them together, power couple. So we have a lot of questions. Do we want to go through the Twitter questions that people have asked?
Yeah.
Okay, so someone asked, this is something that you talked about earlier. Where did it go? From Patricia Beaton. Does the theory about the first book read in a year determining the average rating for the upcoming reads still stand? For her, it did not work, but what about how was our first book of the year and how does it compare to our average ratings, since we now know our average rating?
I broke my streak with my first read of the year, because mine has never been like it determined the rest of the year, because my thing with my first read of the year for the past 4 or 5 years or something like that has been the first book that I read has always been 5 out of 5 stars, and it's ended up on my favorite of the year list. Yeah. Like every single year. So then this year there was so much pressure on it. And I was like, you know what? Everyone is telling me that I'm going to love Evelyn Hugo. So I decided to read that as my first book, and it was only a 4 out of 5 stars for me. I didn't enjoy it as much. So I don't think it dictated like my rating for the year going forward, but I also know that it broke my streak, which is tragic.
Real tragedy. What about you, Hannah?
Yeah. I've never really like thought about it. I don't think I ever paid attention to like, wow, the first book I read this year was a 5-star book or a 2-star book or whatever. Like I never paid attention to it until this year. And I don't really think it determines like my rating for the rest of the year necessarily, but I have noticed that this year I've read a lot more books that have just been deeply average for me. Like I found like a couple of gems so far, and the other ones have just been like okay, or I just didn't like them very much. And then everything else I've read has just been rereads of like my favorite books. So that's why my rating I feel like is kind of all over the place. But yeah, I don't know. I've never paid attention to it before. Now I'm kind of like curious what my other first reads.
What was your first book of the year this year?
This year?
Yeah, what was it?
It was And I Darken.
Oh, yeah. We talked about this. I really pay attention. Yeah, my first book of the year was Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng, and I feel like it kind of reflects my whole reading year because it's been on my shelf for so long and I finally got around to it. And I feel like that's been the theme of this year is I'm finally getting past my I'm finally getting to the books that were hyped a long time ago, and now I feel like comfortable that I can review them without hype really getting in the way. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was good, but it wasn't like amazing. And I feel like that's been my reading year. Like I've enjoyed myself, but I haven't found any like new favorite books of all time. I found a few, but the vast majority have just been like, oh, that was okay.
So I just went back and I looked at like my previous year's reading, and so 2015 was before I started BookTube because I started at the very end of 2015. But the sun is going away. I'm sorry. But it was a play that I'd read for class, which was 5 stars. And then the year after that was a reread of Harry Potter, which was obviously 5 stars. And then again, a reread of Harry Potter, which was obviously 5 stars. And then 2017, or was it 2018? Hold on one sec. Let me go back. 2018, I read Layer of Dreams. So like I had just I just finished The Diviners. So that was another 5-star book. So I guess all of them have always been 5 stars for me too, but I just never paid attention to it.
Yeah.
But they've also been they've been rereads. So
yeah, true. 2 of them were rereads. So yeah, that's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, my first one last year was a reread. It was The Raven Boys. So similarly, like I've never actually paid attention. Like I focus more on what I read at the end of the year because I try to like boost up my reading goals, and then I start fresh in the new year, and I'm like, I'll just read whatever. But it's really interesting that people put pressure on themselves to pick like the perfect first book. But I realized last year I only read 40 pages. I read 14,152 pages, and I'm almost there in page count. And I'm past there in like book count, but also we had Fox and Sons.
Last year I read 32,000 pages.
Oh, yeah.
Across 100 books. So
I also read 32,000 pages, but I read 85 books. But the year before,
less than half the amount of pages as you guys.
You can really see when I went downhill because in 2017 I read 44,000 pages and I read 126 books.
Oh my God. Well, last year was the first time I'd ever hit 100 books.
That's amazing. You can do it again this year. I believe in you.
I cannot.
You can.
I hit 100 this year. Oh, I read 125.
We're only halfway through the year.
Too.
You could read 70 books. Go for it.
I mean, I know I can, but like, will I?
Yes, you
Probably
will.
not.
Just read Fox and Socks 70 times. You could do that in a day. There you go. So we have another Twitter question from XO Nikki. Now that it's halfway through the year, how do you feel reading-wise? Are you starting to feel burnt out or speeding through books or somewhere in between? Where in the year do you normally feel the most burnout? So the first part of the question is, how do you feel with your reading right now?
I just don't feel like reading.
There, that's fair.
It depends. Like, I don't know. I'm just like dealing with a lot of stuff. So like, I'm really busy in life right now. So I just haven't had like the motivation to read. My like, the time and energy I want to spend with like, that I usually want to spend with reading, I've been putting like elsewhere. So that's why I feel like less motivated at this point in the year. But for some reason, I always feel like in the spring, my reading just like kind of slows down a little bit. I don't know if that's accurate. I just like feel like that's true. But yeah, it's like spring, summer, like at the beginning, the end and beginning of that season where I'm just like, I don't really feel like reading as much. I think it's because of like years of school where it's like, you know, you have like summer finally and you're like, wow, I don't want to do anything that requires like brain power. I literally just want to like sleep and watch Netflix all day. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the second half of the year, like fall is when I like really tend to read a lot. So I might like my reading might pick up again then. I don't know.
I'm the opposite when it comes to reading, like because I'm in Florida and it's so dang hot and I can't even go outside. So I'm just like, I'll stay inside, not die of heat stroke, and read a bunch of books. Like always during the summers, I would go to the library like probably a couple times per week with my family, and we would get a bunch of books and I would just read the entire summer away. So I feel like it's very like it's a reading time for me. But also like the last like fall and winter, I definitely read much more because I feel the pressure of time. But I think like around like March is when my reading goes down generally. Because I finished with like the initial spurt of energy.
I don't think I really have a particular time of year where my reading slows down. I think it's just like whenever I don't feel like reading, which is how I've been feeling recently. So I don't know.
You have an agent now. You have an agent now. Does everybody in the chat know that you have an agent now?
Stop.
No. You're too famous to read.
No. Stop. But thank you. No, I think I've just been focused on so many other things that I don't feel like reading. And I mean, a big part of like why I was reading so much was to distract myself from the fact that I was waiting to hear back from the agent. So now that I've heard back, I'm kind of like, well, now I know I have to like focus on other things, and that has to be my main focus. Thank you, people in the chat. Oh,
and
God.
agent now.
Stop. I can't. Oh God.
So do you normally have a time that you read a bunch though?
I think usually fall and winter.
That's when you save all your books. You save all your retellings and
that's
stuff.
It.
That's
it. That's literally why. Is because I save all my
like
books for
a
fall
genre
and winter.
mood reader, yeah.
Yeah. So like in the summer, I will generally like read quite a bit because I will get to like contemporaries and romances and stuff. But I think fall and winter is when I focus the most on reading, and it's like you. Except opposite because it's so cold because Canada. So I can't go outside. So I just stay inside and read.
So we have another question from ooh, this one's from Christine at bookishgirl06. Out of the books you've read so far for Bookmarked Book Club, which one have you liked the most and disliked the most? Wow, this is going to be
yeah, we're all gonna
have completely different answers.
Such varied.
Not gonna be the same at all.
Our least favorite is obviously Daisy Jones and the Six, and our favorite is I Wish You. What's it? No, I keep calling it I Was Born for This.
Yeah, of course. That's exactly it. There you go. Yeah. I love that it was our first one. We started with a bang. Well, also we were all the most like we were waiting for that book to come out. And then I Was Born for This. We've just been going downhill with our choices.
We truly have.
I mean, we really hope this next one. I mean, Clockwork Angel was a pretty good high.
Yeah,
we liked that one. We liked Scythe.
We
all of it.
Yeah,
I except like we're going downhill. It was just this one that wasn't.
It's just one blip. One teeny blip.
But Wicked Fox, nice segue I created for us. Wicked Fox is our July book of the month, and we're reading it in July. And it's gonna be great.
Are we reading it in July?
No, our July book of the month we're reading in August of 2020.
Love that for us.
But yeah, this just came out. It's set in Seoul, modern day Seoul. Our main character is a 9-tailed fox, and then she saves a boy from a goblin, and then she loses her bead that gives her her immortality powers, and so she has to decide whether to fight for her immortality or fight for his life, and it's gonna be good.
I'm excited.
It can't be worse.
If you're participating in the reading rush, you can also use that book to fulfill like 3 of the different prompts. It works for purple cover. It works for a main character who's not human, and it works for debut author, right? Yeah.
Debut author, and you can read it all in one place, like in your bed at night or something like that, if you really want to.
So if you're going to be doing the reading rush later this month, which if you don't know what that is, it's the BookTubeathon, but it's rebranded. It's now called the Reading Rush. If you're participating in that later this month, you can totally use that book to fulfill any of those prompts, because I'm going to do that for sure. So I'm excited.
Are you doing Reading Rush?
I am. It's like the one readathon that like...
Is Zoe doing it?
I don't know.
The FOMO.
Are you worried about FOMO?
I don't know yet.
It's like the one. It's like the one readathon that I will like ever like that I always want to join, and I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
But
I'm doing Newts all of August.
Mhm.
So I'm doing like a huge readathon for an entire month. So I'm not sure if I should prep for that and like prep videos and stuff for that so I can focus on reading, or if I should just like throw caution to the wind and do multiple readathons. I don't know if I do. Are you doing daily vlogs?
Yeah, I miss reading and like vlogging.
You're doing reading?
Well, I haven't done it for 2 years. So like, yeah, I really want to try. Maybe it'll give me my like motivation to film again. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Wow.
Let me know if you're doing it, Zoe.
I will. I'll just start posting videos.
No!
And you'll be like,
No, don't do it to me. Oh.
So we have, this one from Sheila XO. Have any of the books you've read so far become an all-time favorite? So you've had some favorites of the year, but besides Daisy Jones, we know you guys love that one. But what are other ones that like you'll think about in years to come that you don't have? Really?
And
have you read all of the books? You've read all of them.
I read all 3. Yeah.
3? Oh.
Yeah, but I said Fire was my favorite. There are parts of Fire that I really like, but honestly, I think Graceling is my favorite one of the trilogy. Graceling, and then The Last Magician. All-time favorites.
I don't think I have any. Like, that's been my problem in 2018 and in 2019 is I feel like I haven't read anything where, I mean, besides The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, because that's definitely an all-time favorite of mine, but I feel like the books where I'm like, this is a book that's going to stick with me forever, so few and far between now. Like, I haven't had a book where I've gotten really obsessed with it and it's like all I want to talk about in so long, which sucks. So I think that's where a lot of my burnout or not really like having the motivation to read has come from recently.
Yeah. You should just do what I do and don't read until you have a bunch of recommendations, then read them all at once. But now that I'm like finally allowing myself to read like really hyped books or like books that people have been talking about for years, like I think I'm going to find more favorites because I'm reading Six of Crows right now, but I don't know. I'm scared.
I think you will. I don't think Six of Crows is something to be scared about. I promise.
Like, well, not just Six of Crows, but like other hyped books. We'll see. So we have new favorite, the library book.
You might like the library book.
You might read it. You should read it. Okay. This one from Mariame Liakubi. Which book did you read this year that has been on your TBR for the longest time?
Graceling. It's been like 50 years. I've owned that book since I was in like 7th grade.
Oh yeah. Really? It's
yeah.
Like,
That's how old it is.
I finally read The Night Circus, and I hauled it in one of my first book hauls. And then I think I got rid of it, and then I hauled it again. So I finally read it, though.
Mine would be Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman, which isn't that old, but...
You actually read your books, though, so...
I mean, I used to, way back when. Remember the days. But that I've had since it came out, and I just hadn't read it yet. But now I did.
And then this second part of the question, which one will you prioritize to read before the end of the year? Is there like one book on your bookshelf right now that you know you want to read?
I've been talking about reading The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood forever. I've met Margaret Atwood. I have a personalized signed copy of The Handmaid's Tale, and I haven't read it yet. And I feel like such a failure as a Canadian for not reading it. And I haven't done it. So I haven't seen the TV show because I want to read it first. Wait, it's
Canadian?
Yeah, she's Canadian. You didn't know that?
I literally just had to bite my tongue to not swear at you. Now I was so close.
Okay.
Go on without me. I feel her Canadian pride on behalf of all of Canada. Yes, Margaret Atwood is Canadian.
I was kidding.
You were not kidding. You liar. And to think you were singing
apparently you told me this
with
before,
me.
And I forgot.
Yeah, people in the chat are saying you've told her this before, and I'm pretty sure you have told her this before, like on another live. I think this has happened before.
I don't remember this happening. I think really offended.
I obviously don't remember it happening, or else I would.
I feel blindsided and shocked.
I think I forgot because it's set in the States, but also it makes Canada look good, so I should not be surprised.
We don't need to be made to look good. We just look good.
Oh my gosh. What about you, Hannah?
I forgot the question.
What
am I going to read? Yeah. Like prioritize reading. I don't have my bookshelf with me, so I can't like look at it. But like, I don't know. All I know that I need to read before the end of the year is The Starless Sea. Like, that's all I know. And like, am I putting too much pressure on this one book? Probably. But honestly, even if I don't like it, I don't think I will care that much. Like, I think I'll be a little disappointed, but I don't think it'll be like earth-shattering. I just know I need to read that before the end of the year.
All the books on these shelves I've read, so I don't really know. But I think, like, obviously I want to finish Six of Crows and like read Crooked Kingdom. I don't want to. Oh no, the book I need to read, Queen of Air and Darkness.
Oh my god.
Yes, please. And no, you're not allowed to reread the first two again.
Oh.
I will like fly to Florida and fight you.
Okay, wait, I won't read it.
No, yes. That was terrible incentive.
I made a mistake.
You did.
That's how I get you to love me. Is I
oh my
make
god,
you really mad. So you'll pay attention to me.
Oh my god. Floyd, we need help over here. We have lots to unpack.
Oh my gosh. So we have more questions. If you want to ask any questions, ask in the chat or ask on Twitter. But right now I'm just looking at our Twitter questions. Okay. Even if, this one's from Savvy Bookworm. Even if you read a book you didn't like, do you feel it helped you grow as a reader or overall person? So looking at the books that you disliked this year, do they have like any merit to your life? Okay, and
zero.
Moving on. Zero. I feel like it made me a better book reviewer when I can see things that I don't like in books. I can finally like decide what my reading taste is more. So it's helpful in that way, and it's helpful to see like realize that the books that I genuinely like because they're well written and not just because I liked the plot of it. Because some of the books that I disliked had good plots, but the writing style and all of that didn't work for me. So I think it does have merit to my life, but I don't think it changed me as a person.
I think my life was changed by the yeeting of the brick. The yeeting of the brick definitely changed me forever.
Oh my gosh.
But I have been changed for good. Start singing Wicked for you all.
I keep forgetting that happened.
Yes.
And every time I remember, I'm just like, wow.
Hannah and I had a very emotional duet to that song.
For Good from Wicked.
Yeah.
While we were doing karaoke, Zoe was in the bathroom, so FOMO for her.
Emotional moment until I was gone.
We were also intoxicated.
Not me.
Oh my god, it was great times though. It was so much. Tears were shed. I think about it and I'm like, oh my god, like
I know
so much.
I know it really was.
Oh, good times. Great times at karaoke with an hour of unlimited drinks.
Woo! We're all over 21. Just letting you know.
Oh,
we were safe.
Fine.
Okay. Goodbye.
Oh god.
So have you guys used the library at all this year?
No.
Okay.
I work at a bookstore.
Well, this next question was about library, so only I can answer it. But I'll answer it anyway, from Lydia at PS I Still Read You. How has borrowing from the library affected how often you read the books you own? So I definitely have purchased less books this year, and I've been reading more. So a few of my favorite books of the year actually were books that I got from the library, such as the library book.
I'm never gonna read this book now.
I know. It's
I'm never
actually in conversation. I need to bring it. This is like the first time I've talked about this book with you.
I know, it's just happening so often that I'm like, ugh. I'm sure it's a great book though.
Yeah, I mean it's nonfiction, so if you're not interested in like true crime or libraries,
I don't like true crime
or books, well then
I like libraries and books. I don't like true crime.
It talks about like the history of libraries and like it sounds really boring, but it's really good. Never mind. Okay, but I have purchased less and like I can get all of my book buying tendencies out when I'm going online, and I'm like because my library has home delivery for library books, so it's kind of just like shopping on Amazon, but it's free and you can return the books if you're actually not that interested in them. So sometimes when I'm feeling like the itch to shop, I'll just go on the library site and get them.
I do that with clothes, except I fill a cart and then I'm like, I'm not going to buy it. And then $500 later, package shows up at my door. So I have no self-control. So I can't do that.
I literally do what you do, except I fill my cart and then I just like exit out.
Yeah, that's the intent. That is the intent. But I'm always like, oh, but I really want it.
Yeah. Also, Libby, which is like an online.
Libby is amazing.
Like, yeah, it's an app on your phone, or you can put it on your iPad or whatever, and you can get ebooks and audiobooks from your library. So I definitely recommend that as well if you want to support your library, if you don't want to spend much money, if you want to try out a book and you don't want to commit to buying it. That's what I've done a few times. I'll like start a book, and if I'm really loving it, I'll buy it, or sometimes I'll just read the whole book, and if I loved it, then I'll buy it afterwards. So I love the library, and I'm happy that I'm like back in an area with libraries.
Sorry, I feel personally attacked because someone asked how my student loan is.
How is your student loan going?
Not well, folks. Not well. We just don't talk about it. We pretend it doesn't exist until the money comes out of my account every month.
We don't talk about it, she says, as she brings it up in almost every other line.
I was watching her first BookTuber-thon vlog on her channel, and she's like, oh yeah, when the student loans started coming in.
Well, because she was talking about how, like, she was watching the progression of my bookshelves.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, you can see my student loan dwindling before your eyes. Oh, I hate myself.
Oh, goodness. So if you want to pay back a student loan, say, do that. You can use your library and Hoopla. Hoopla is really good for graphic novels because those are really expensive and it takes you like an hour to read them. So use Hoopla. It is a fun word. Yes.
Hoopla.
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 Yeah. Also, something that I started doing this year is I have a bullet journal, and I've been tracking reading stats and stuff like that. So I track like my reading, like I have my rating and like all the other stuff, and then I have like a haul page. So I write down every book that I got from the library or I purchased or was sent to me. So that also like keeps me from buying a bunch of books if I actually have to be held accountable looking at the list. So do we have any more questions from the chat on Twitter?
I don't see anything in the chat right now.
You want to talk about student loans more?
No.
Oh, this one from that just came in on Twitter from Isabella at CarryOnSMGC. What books that you read this year do you wish will be adapted into either a TV show or movie?
Daisy Jones, which is being adapted.
Yeah, it is happening. Oh, it needs to have like full music videos. Like it needs to end with a music video every single episode. Oh.
Listen, whenever we get that actual like scene of honeycomb happening, I can't even think about it. I'm gonna die, but I can't wait. I'm trying to think what else that I've read this year. Oh, I feel like what's it called? Truly Devious, which I read The Vanishing Stair this year. I feel like that would make a great TV show. Like it would be great on like, I feel like that's kind of what Riverdale wants to be. It tries to be, fails at miserably. But like, I feel like Truly Devious could be like a great CW TV show, like a teen drama.
Yeah, it could add some more angst and it wouldn't like take away from the plot.
Yeah,
that's what they need. I think Howl's Moving Castle would make a great movie.
Really?
I think Scythe would be an interesting TV show.
Yeah, it would be.
It would be cool. Also, I'd be dying to see like the end of Thunderhead, like actually before me.
I know.
I haven't read it yet.
Like, no, we're not spoiling anything. But
No.
like, yeah, no, I fully agree with you because I was reading that and I was like, this is like hard to even visualize.
Yes.
So like,
I could never have predicted any of the things.
Oh, I know. I know. So yeah.
Oh God.
Oh gosh. A lot of the books I've read this year are becoming, or they've already been adapted, or they're becoming adapted.
It's
Like
because you wait so long to read them all.
are you wrong though? Like Artemis Fowl is becoming a movie. They moved back the release date, but it's still coming. Yeah, Little Fires Everywhere becoming. Reese Witherspoon is just like, she has my back this year, you know?
Killing it.
I love her. So what about you, Hailey? Besides,
I said
Thunderhead.
Scythe. She said Scythe.
Oh, I thought you
I don't
said
have
that.
another answer.
Oh, okay. There we go.
That's it. That's it. That's all she wrote.
From SJ Hawk, are you guys leaning towards any genres this year or keeping it varied?
I've basically only read contemporary and romance. I've read like a few.
Here you started reading it more, so you've discovered new genres.
Romance I've discovered. Contemporary I've always read.
Yeah.
But like now I'm gonna have to move away from contemporary. So I'm probably just not gonna read. I want to get into fantasy more. We're just in a very complicated relationship still.
I feel like my reading has been all over the place.
Yeah. I agree.
It's been a lot of fantasy. I've read poetry collections. I've read literary fiction, contemporary short stories, graphic novels. Yeah, just like all over the place, which I feel like is pretty much my reading. I feel like I always think I read like only fantasy and it's not really true. It's just what I like end up liking the most.
Yeah, you gravitate more towards it.
Yeah.
But like you try.
Yeah, no, I read a lot of different stuff. It's just everything that ends up being a favorite usually tends to be fantasy.
Mm-hmm. I've been pretty varied this year too. I've focused more on, well, no, actually, it's been pretty even.
Yeah, I feel like both of you have read pretty like across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have like, high five. I have like a final question for us that I'm just kind of curious about.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a genre or a category or something that you kind of want to read more of for the rest of the year?
Fantasy.
Yeah, I think fantasy. I want to try, now that I'm getting past myself, I can try like a lot of the fantasies that people have been talking about. Also, I want to read more mystery because I always say that I really like mystery, but I realize I haven't read much of it. So I want to read, like I haven't read any Sherlock Holmes and I want to try that out. And I want to read more Agatha Christie.
Why is everyone talking about BTS in the chat?
I don't know. Are we talking about BTS?
How do we?
I didn't say anything.
I know you didn't.
I would like to point out that almost every time it comes up, I don't even mention it.
I know. Oh my god.
We can talk about. I'll do a live show by myself where I just sit here and cry about BTS the whole time. For those of you who are curious,
why am I not invited?
I'll watch it.
For those of you who are curious, I've spent the entire day watching Bon Voyage. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing with my time. That's why you don't have any videos. Sorry, not sorry.
Oh my gosh.
But to answer my own question, I really feel like reading I think it's because I read The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas, and it's not because of BTS, but
you said you want to do a project where you read all of
I do want to do a project where I read all of the books that they like mention or reference or recommend or something like that. So I thought that would be like a fun video, but no, that's not like what I'm talking about. I feel like reading like classics. I don't know why. I'm just like in a mood. Like I just want to read stuff that like, you discuss in like a literature class. For some reason, that's just like the mood I'm in right now. So I might finally read A Tale of Two Cities. And try Dickens again, even though we know that I think he doesn't slap.
Tale of Two Cities is so good.
I know. Well, I don't know. I haven't read it. But I feel like reading like literary fiction and classics. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Ooh, I want to reread Little Women because the adaptation's coming out.
Yeah, me too.
It's never been my favorite classic, but maybe
I can't with
my
Little
mind will
Women.
change. I don't know. Ooh, I need to reread all of Jane Austen. You know, no, something that I want to do is I want to read every single Pride and Prejudice retelling.
Oh.
Every single one.
I still need to finish reading Jane Austen's books. I haven't read all of them.
Which ones have you not read?
Emma.
What?
Emma's really good.
Whoa!
Emma is really good.
Holy swear word.
I think it's like I might like it even slightly more than Pride and Prejudice.
I like it more
Like,
than Pride and Prejudice.
That's the tea.
I know.
Yeah, I haven't read Persuasion. I'm looking at them right now. I think those are the ones. I've read Northanger Abbey,
Mansfield Park?
No, Mansfield Park I said before Emma.
Oh,
I haven't read that
I
yet.
was not paying attention.
No, you
I only heard you on your
honed in on Emma. Oh my god.
Oh, yeah, no, Dynamite Kate says you that I need to show you the BBC miniseries of Emma is so good.
It's not available on Amazon Prime anymore. It's really tragic.
On Hulu. We can rabbit it and watch it together.
Yeah, but Amazon Prime doesn't have commercials. It's tragic. I used to rewatch that like every couple months. I used to rewatch that every couple months, and then they took it off of Amazon Prime, and I was like, what am I supposed to do now?
That sucks.
Pay $12 a month.
No, I have Hulu too. I just don't want to watch the ads.
Oh my god. Wait,
Wow.
Rabbit is ending?
What?
Rabbit is ending.
What? No.
What? So rough. How are we gonna watch things together?
What? How else am I supposed to watch Game of Thrones? How am I supposed to watch the final season of Game of Thrones when I haven't watched any of the other seasons of Game of Thrones?
We have a question from Bookish Lost Girl that I think you'll like, Hailey. The prettiest and ugliest book covers of the year.
Oh, I like that
so
question.
far. That you've read.
So the prettiest, there's so many pretty ones. With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo.
That's such a good cover.
It's so gorgeous. Can you undress it, please? Yeah.
Woo!
Wow.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that was.
Yeah.
I need to buy it now. Oh my god. I was waiting to read it first, but
I bought it instead of getting it from the library.
Yep.
Valid.
That one, and then This Time Will Be Different by Misa Sugiura. That one is also beautiful. I also like the new covers for Prince Charming and Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins. They are beautiful. Ugliest, I don't really have that many. I mean, I think the cover for A Curse So Dark and Lonely is really ugly. I just have a lot of opinions that people hate. That's what we're getting. Oh, Radio Silence is so ugly.
You mean the US cover?
Yeah.
The one with the purple in the road.
Yeah.
That
one.
Because the UK cover is really nice. Wait, did you read Radio Silence this year?
Yeah.
It was the beginning of the year, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're only halfway through the year, so yes.
Wait, so okay, you read it after I did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
For some reason, we read it at like the same time. We read it at like the same time.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought we all read it at exactly the same time. I was like, it's not on my Goodreads. What did I not mark it?
No, that didn't happen. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that many ugly covers because if it has an ugly cover, I won't read it.
I feel like my favorite cover is probably, I love the UK cover of Daisy Jones and the Six.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the US cover very much. Yeah, I'd say either that or Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender, which I reread. Have like two of my favorite covers. And then least favorite cover is probably Bitter Blue. I just don't like the cover of Bitter Blue. I like the cover of Graceling is nice and Fire's okay. But Bitter Blue is just not my favorite because you can see like a face in the background and it's not like with the Fire on High where it's like illustrated and pretty. It's just like not.
It's just not a face, cute. Just like
it's like an older style because
it's one of those like clearly this book is from 2012 era. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like the new Shadow and like the new Grisha trilogy. I read all the
like
Grisha
it.
Shield this year. You like the new ones better than the
I
old
love
ones?
the new ones.
I
I
think
just don't think that
them.
they match with Six of Crows.
Oh,
They
I like the
don't,
old ones
but
better.
I'm
I feel like
fine.
they have more of like the vibe of the book. I don't know. But
Yeah, but
all those like they're not my favorite. Also, I don't like Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. That cover is just
Oh yeah.
Oh
it's
yeah, I don't
funny.
like that either.
no.
Yeah, I agree.
But my
agree.
favorite, I really like the Wayward Children covers.
I do
Really?
too.
And
I'm
I
actually
like,
not a huge fan of those covers.
oh, I like them. But I also read The Sun Is Also a Star, and that's one of my favorite covers of all time.
Yeah, that's
It's such a good cover.
I saw it like if you watch the progress of like when they make it. Oh, it's so cool. I want to learn how to do that.
So do we want to talk about our BookTuber of the week?
Why, of course, madame. I shall read it for you. Okay. Our BookTuber of the week is Jessica Nicole Dickerson. Her link is down. Is it down below? Yeah. I love her so much. So I asked her earlier today if she could provide a bio for me to read, and it's in first person, so this is not about me. This is about her, in case you were really confused. So her bio goes, "Hi, everybody. I'm Jessica Nicole Dickerson, aka JND. I am an actor, artist, and book nerd, or all-around nerd. I love YA fantasy and have been getting into more diverse contemporary, but I also love manga and comics. I am really proud of a tag that I made called the Mixed Bag tag that's all about getting more diverse recommendations from our fellow booktubers. It talks about how we are all diverse in our own ways. I hope that I'm able to bring some joy to the days of anyone who finds my channel." So she's so energetic and so bubbly and just a really bright spot in your subscription feed. If you want to check her out, I highly recommend. And yeah, so that's our BookTuber of the week.
Yay. So we already mentioned our book of the month for July, which is Wicked Fox. So if you would like to read that book along with us this month and join us for the live show, which will be at the end of the month, date TBD, but probably
it's going to be the 28th.
28th. Okay, July 28th.
That's the last Sunday of the month.
Yeah, the last Sunday of the month, July 28th, 3 p.m. Eastern. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I'm thinking my time. Eastern Standard Time on Zoe's channel.
Haley's
channel.
Nope.
You got it.
Okay.
You had a 50-50 chance.
If you look on the Twitter or Instagram at Bookmarked Club, I made a graphic that has all the information if you want to look at it at a later date. I also put the time zones for other time zones if you live in Australia or UK or anything. So
if you want to get up at 5 a.m. and
if you want to get
up. Sounds
I'm
great.
sorry to all of you Australians out there.
Your alarms. At this time, like at this point, they're probably used to it. You know?
Yeah, but it's still sad.
Unfortunately,
I'm sorry.
no, yes. I agree.
But yeah, if you would like to join us for that live show, it will be on the 28th. So we're excited to read that book with all of you. But yeah, I think that wraps it up for today's chapter. Next week, we are going to be on whose channel? Zoe's channel. Okay. That's why I was thinking Zoe's channel for the book. We're going to be on Zoe's channel
It'll be a different, we're not sure. Hailey has a conflict with next week's time. So we're going to figure out whether to push it onto Sunday or to skip it until next Friday. But we will have a special guest on. Liv from Stories for Coffee will be on, and we're talking all about advanced reader copies. If you want to know more information on how to get them, how to review them, all of the intimate details of ARCs. So we will let you know when we decide to reschedule that.
Yeah, we'll update the Twitter, so just check it out there. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining us, and we will see you in the next chapter. Goodbye.
Love you. Bye.